Well, we were talking about real estate right up until the time that the fires hit here in San Diego, and then that kind of took over most of the conversation. But now, as we get back to real estate, the fires still figure into it. Louie Ortiz joins us this morning from the Ortiz Group with kind of an update on the situation. Just kind of go ahead and give us the overall big picture right now, and then I'll kind of hit you with specifics.
All right. Well, you know, San Diego here, the fires was very tragic. And basically what's happened now after the fires is there was a big pause during the fire time. But now things are starting to get back to normal, and the market is still like it was before, and it pretty much mimics the rest of the country. The prices are still falling a bit. There's still quite a bit of inventory out there, and it's still a great time for buyers.
Now, people are wondering, you know, did the fires increase home values, decrease home values, have any effect on them whatsoever?
Well, in the very short run, immediately after the fire, I think everybody was a little bit panicked, and a lot of people that lost their homes in the fires were looking for a place to live. So the rental market definitely saw an increase in activity and also a little bit in prices. But as far as pricing, overall, it's remained pretty consistent with how it was before the fires.
Now, with rentals, it's actually illegal to raise them over a certain amount, especially in a disaster like that, right?
Yes, it is. There's some isolated incidents of some people, you know, taking advantage of the situation and really, you know, raising the prices.
And I forget what it is. Is it 10%?
I believe it's 10% if it's declared a disaster area, and this was. And so people that own houses really cannot raise the rents, you know, after the fires than what they had before.
So if you were running a newspaper article the week before the fire, and somebody said, "Oh, that house was, you know, $2,000," and then after the fire, same newspaper article says $3,000.
Right.
You've got a complaint.
You do have a complaint,
Okay.
but I've seen some situations where insurance companies were coming in, and there was a very, you know, the people wanted to live still close to the areas where they were, so their kids were in the same school district. And there were some situations where insurance companies were actually bidding with the homeowners on the rental, so that caused some problems for the homeowner.
Okay, well, that's an interesting situation too, but again, isolated, like you
Yes.
said. All right, overall then, the market you say is coming down. What are the numbers? Are they trending in a particular direction at a particular pace?
Well, you know, we have from year to date about 17.9% for detached and 14.5% year to date in condo sales and overall sales, and that's pretty much typical of the entire county.
Now, what does that mean exactly?
That means that there's 17.9% less sales at the same time this year than last year,
Okay.
correct, and same for condo sales, which is significant. Foreclosures are also up. There's a really amazing statistic here, 140% increase from quarter to quarter from this year to last year.
Well, but now percentages are tricky because
Yes.
if you're talking about 5 and then and 6, the percentage is huge. But if you're talking about 1,000 to 2,000,
correct.
So where are we at there?
It was about 2,300 from last year, the same quarter, to about 5,600 this year.
So that's a significant number of people that are being foreclosed on. 5,000 people are being foreclosed on.
But when you look in the total population, it's a very small percentage of the total homes, but it is a significant number.
Okay, and certainly for those folks, that's a crisis situation.
Yes.
So we don't want to minimize that. Less homes being sold doesn't necessarily translate into the homes being worth less, however.
No, not necessarily. In fact, what we've seen in a lot of cases is actually the average price is actually a little bit higher. And I attribute that because a lot of people decided that they want to sell their house and they have a lot of appreciation. And so those houses, they are trying to get a little bit more for them. But in many cases, they're not selling for that asking price.
Average price, though, median price, two different things. Because if the average price has gone up, that might only mean that homes on the higher end are selling. That's bringing the average price up. So what are you actually seeing there?
Same. I just see the prices continuing to fall a little bit, both in the average price and, you know, it's been a little bit tough here in the county. So most of the economists are predicted to stay pretty flat also up into the upcoming year.
Is the biggest part of the correction over in this market, or might we see major dips still?
I think that we're not quite to the bottom yet, and the reason that I say that is because when I look through the homes, there's still a lot of notice of defaults out there, and I think that we need to clear out some of that inventory before we really see. But, you know, nobody knows for certain, but most of the economists are predicting it's going to remain fairly flat for 2008. But it's still a great opportunity for buyers. There's a lot of inventory, and interest rates are still very low.
Yeah, got to let you go, but interest rates, again, how are they trending?
They are coming down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Louie Ortiz with the Ortiz Group. It's always good to see you.
Thanks
Thanks for the update. All right, getting into the holiday spirit.